Alright, let me set the scene for you. Imagine this. You're sitting at the dinner table, the aroma of mom's homemade lasagna filling the air, your little sister's laughter echoing through the room, and dad's corny jokes making you roll your eyes. A typical family night, right? Now, picture this. Suddenly, your mom drops her fork, her face pales, and she looks at your dad with tears welling up in her eyes. "I can't do this anymore," she whispers, and just like that, the world as you know it starts to crumble. You see, my family was always the picture-perfect kind. We lived in a cozy suburban house, had a dog named Buster, and even hosted the annual neighborhood barbecue. But that night, everything changed. Mom confessed that she had been living a lie, that she wasn't happy, and that she needed to be true to herself. She looked at my sister and me, her eyes filled with a mix of fear and determination, and said, "I'm gay, and I've met someone." The room spun, and I felt like I was in a dream, no, a nightmare. How could this be happening? How could our perfect family be falling apart? But here's the twist. The person Mom had met wasn't some stranger. It was Aunt Lisa, Dad's sister. Yeah, you heard that right. The bombshell left us all reeling, but it was Dad who took it the hardest. He stormed out of the house, leaving us in a deafening silence. Mom, Lisa, my sister, and I were left to pick up the pieces, to navigate this new reality that none of us saw coming. It was crazy, it was unexpected, and it was our new normal. As days turned into weeks, we started to adjust. Mom and Lisa moved in together, and surprisingly, they found a rhythm that worked for them. My sister and I visited them often, and slowly, we began to see the genuine happiness in Mom's eyes. Something that had been missing for years. But Dad, he was a different story. He struggled, he fought against the change, and he distanced himself from us. It was heartbreaking to watch, but we couldn't force him to accept something he wasn't ready for. Now, here's where things get even more complicated. During one of our visits to Mom and Lisa's place, I noticed something. A spark. A connection between my sister and Lisa's daughter, Emily. They had always been close, but this was different. It was a look, a touch, a shared laughter that hinted at something more. And just like that, another secret love story began to unfold under our roof. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's just say that love, in all its forms, has a way of finding us, even in the most unexpected places. So, if you're hooked and want to know more about how our family navigated this crazy, beautiful journey, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Watch our videos and don't forget to comment down your favorite part of the video. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. As we stumbled through the chaos that had become our lives, I found myself drawn to the one person who understood what I was going through. Emily. She was more than just a cousin. She was my confidant, my partner in crime, and now my rock. We spent countless nights talking, laughing, and sometimes just sitting in silence, letting the weight of our shared experiences bind us together. It was during one of those nights, under the soft glow of her bedroom lamp, that I first felt it. A flutter in my chest, a warmth that spread through me, and a realization that this was more than just a familial bond. But let me back up a bit. Emily and I had always been close. We were born just a few months apart, grew up together, and shared everything from toys to secrets. But this was different. It was a look that lingered a little too long, a hug that felt a little too tight, and a connection that ran a little too deep. It was scary, exhilarating, and completely unexpected. I mean, who falls in love with their cousin, right? But then again, who has an aunt who becomes their stepmom? Our family was clearly not one for conventions. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is crazy, this is wrong, this is complicated. And you're right, it was all of those things. But it was also real, and it was happening whether we wanted it to or not. We tried to fight it, to push it away, to pretend it didn't exist. But love, as they say, has a mind of its own. And so, amidst the whirlwind of our parents' drama, Emily and I found ourselves in our own secret storm. Meanwhile, Mom and Lisa were settling into their new life together. They were happy, genuinely happy, and it was hard not to be happy for them. But Dad, he was still a mess. He had moved out, found a small apartment across town, and barely spoke to any of us. I could see the pain in his eyes every time we visited, the struggle between his love for Mom and his inability to accept her choices. It was tough to watch, and it made our secret even harder to bear. But life has a funny way of working out, doesn't it? Just when you think you've got it all figured out, it throws you a curveball. And our curveball came in the form of a phone call late one night. It was Dad, his voice shaky and uncertain. He wanted to talk, to really talk, for the first time since Mom dropped the bombshell. And so, with a deep breath and a racing heart, I agreed to meet him. Little did I know that conversation would change everything. For me, for Emily, for all of us. But more on that later. For now, just know that our journey was far from over, and the most beautiful, the most challenging parts were yet to come. As I sat across from Dad in that quiet little cafe, I could see the lines that had etched themselves into his face over the past few months. He looked tired, worn down, but there was a spark in his eyes that I hadn't seen in a long time, a spark of determination. He took a deep breath, looked at me and said, "I want to understand. I want to try." Those words, simple as they were, meant the world to me. It was a start, a step forward in a journey that had been stagnant for too long. But let me rewind a bit. Before that night, Dad had been stuck in a cycle of anger, denial, and pain. He couldn't understand how Mom could love someone else, let alone a woman, let alone his sister. It was a betrayal, a shock, and a reality he just couldn't accept. But something had changed. Maybe it was the loneliness of his apartment. Maybe it was the sight of Mom and Lisa truly happy together. Or maybe it was just time. But he was finally ready to face the truth. Now, you might be thinking, that's great and all, but what about you and Emily? Well, hold on to your seats, because this is where things get even more complicated. Just as Dad was starting to open up, Emily and I were struggling to keep our secret hidden. We were stealing glances, sharing whispered words, and living in a world that felt like it was just the two of us. But the reality was, it wasn't just the two of us. We had a family to think about, a family that was already dealing with more than its fair share of drama. And so, we decided to take a step back, to cool things off, to give our family the space they needed to heal. But you know what they say about the best laid plans, they often go awry. And ours did, in the most unexpected way. It was a family dinner, the first one with Dad, Mom, and Lisa all together since that fateful night. The tension was palpable, but there was also a sense of hope, a sense that maybe, just maybe, we could all find a way to be a family again. But hope, as they say, is a dangerous thing. Just as we were starting to relax, to laugh, to feel like a family again, it happened. A simple touch, a brush of the hand under the table, and suddenly, Emily and I were back where we started, caught in a whirlwind of emotions, unable to deny what we felt any longer. And that's when it hit me, we couldn't keep hiding, couldn't keep pretending. We owed it to ourselves, to our family, to be true, to be honest. But how do you tell your family that you're in love with your cousin, especially when your family is already dealing with so much? Well, that's a story for another time. For now, just know that our journey was about to take another crazy, beautiful turn. So, if you're invested in our roller coaster of a story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Keep watching our videos to see how our family navigated this unexpected path. And don't forget to comment down below with your favorite part of the video. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Alright, fasten your seatbelts because this is where our story takes a turn that even I didn't see coming. Picture this. It's a quiet afternoon. The sun is streaming through the windows, and I'm sitting in the living room with Mom and Lisa. We're chatting about nothing in particular when I suddenly blurt out, "I have something to tell you." The room goes silent, and I can feel my heart pounding in my chest. I look at Emily, who's sitting across from me, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and anticipation. And then I say it, "I'm in love with Emily." Now, let me pause here because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how could you drop that bombshell on your family after everything they've been through? But here's the thing, I had to be true to myself, to Emily, and to our family. We had seen firsthand what happens when you keep secrets, when you hide who you are. And I didn't want that for us. I wanted us to be open, to be honest, and to face whatever came our way together. The reaction was, well, it was mixed. Mom looked shocked. Lisa looked concerned. And for a moment, there was just silence. But then, Mom did something I didn't expect. She smiled. She looked at me, then at Emily and said, "You know, I always had a feeling there was something special between you two." And just like that, a weight was lifted off my shoulders. But our journey was far from over. Meanwhile, Dad was still trying to come to terms with Mom and Lisa's relationship. He was making progress, but it was slow and it was hard. And now we had to tell him about us. Emily and I decided to do it together to present a united front. So one evening we sat him down and told him the truth. And you know what? He surprised us. He looked at us, took a deep breath and said, "If you're happy, then I'm happy." It was a moment of acceptance, of understanding, and of love, something we all desperately needed. But life, as we know, is never that simple. Just as we were starting to find our footing, to navigate this new reality, something happened that none of us saw coming. Mom and Lisa received a letter that would change everything. It was from Lisa's ex-husband, a man who had been out of the picture for years. He wanted to see Emily, wanted to reconnect, and suddenly, our world was thrown into chaos once again. You see, our journey was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. We were learning, growing, and evolving, as individuals, as a couple, and as a family. And through it all, we were discovering that love, in all its forms, is a beautiful, complicated, and incredibly powerful thing. But more on that later. For now, just know that our story was about to take another unexpected turn. One that would test us, challenge us, and ultimately, bring us closer together. So, if you're on the edge of your seat, eager to see how our crazy, beautiful journey unfolds, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Keep watching our videos to see the twists and turns that lie ahead. And don't forget to comment down below with your favorite part of the video. Believe me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Now, brace yourselves, because this is where our story takes its wildest turn yet. The letter from Lisa's ex-husband, let's call him Jake, sent shockwaves through our family. Emily was torn. She wanted to know her dad, but she was also scared of the chaos it could bring. Meanwhile, Lisa was a wreck. Mom was trying to hold everyone together, and Dad was just trying to wrap his head around this new curveball. But me, I was determined to stand by Emily no matter what. So Jake came back into the picture and it was awkward to say the least. He was trying to make up for lost time, trying to be a dad to Emily, and trying to navigate this new dynamic. But here's the kicker, Jake wasn't alone. He had a new partner, a man named Alex, and they were hoping to blend their families. Yes, you heard that right. Our already complex family was about to get even more complicated. But here's where things get really crazy. As Jake and Alex started spending more time with us, I noticed something. A familiar look, a shared laughter, a connection that seemed all too familiar. It was happening again. Love was finding its way in the most unexpected places. This time it was between Jake and Dad. I know, right? Mind-blowing. It started with shared experiences, with late-night talks, and with a bond that grew stronger each day. And before we knew it, Dad and Jake were falling for each other. It was insane, it was beautiful, and it was a testament to the power of love. Our family was becoming this incredible, messy, beautiful blend of love, acceptance, and understanding. But let me tell you, it wasn't all sunshine and roses. There were fights, there were tears, and there were moments when we all thought this was just too crazy to work. But we stuck together, we fought for each other, and we chose love. Every single time. And in the end, that's what made us stronger. That's what made our family truly beautiful. So, if you've been on this roller coaster with us, if you've laughed, cried, and gasped along the way, then you know our journey is far from over. But here's the thing, we wouldn't have it any other way. Because through it all, we've learned that love is love, no matter what form it takes. And that's something worth fighting for. Now, if you're as invested in our story as we are, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Keep watching our videos to see where this crazy, beautiful journey takes us next. And hey, don't forget to comment down below with your favorite part of the video. We can't wait to hear from you. And remember, no matter how complicated, how unexpected, or how crazy your journey gets. As long as you choose love, you can't go wrong. Until next time, stay true, stay brave, and most importantly, stay you. Because that's what makes your story worth telling.